If I were drowning, would you save me? Junho asked Hyunho. Why should I? You have to save yourself, he said, as Eunho grabbed his leg like a koala. After hearing his words, she bit his leg and laughed. Me or the news? She asked. I will answer this once, so listen carefully. The news? He said. After hearing this, she pouted and went to cut off the power. He started chasing after her, and they both laughed. Me or the news? She asked again. This time he said he would choose her. I would choose you over everything. It made her happy. If you like me that much, then go there. She pointed at the news. Why did you become so kind all of a sudden? He asked. Because I love you a lot, she confessed, and they both hugged. Present time. Eunho and Hyunho had broken up 2 years ago. The 38-year-old Eunho was arguing with her senior, refusing to change her schedule for another program. I would anchor the program instead of her, Eunho interrupted, shocking her colleague. After everyone left the room, her senior scolded her, saying she should accept the program because it was a good opportunity. Eunho went to Hyunho and asked him why he had intervened in the argument. Do you still love me? He was stunned by her question, but he started denying it. Then, he suggested she take the opportunity. I will change the airtime. Then you would accept it, right? He asked. She didn't believe him because it was out of his control, but to her surprise, he did it. They reported the news together, though she was upset. She didn't want to work with her ex-lover and tried to annoy him. However, he remained calm and professional, even saving her from embarrassment when her skirt tore. He had covered her professionally. His behavior affected her. One of her colleagues liked her, and she knew it. She asked him to go on a date with her, and he was thrilled. They planned to go on a date over the weekend. Hyunho overheard their conversation and offered her a 20-minute weekend news segment. She couldn't resist accepting the opportunity. She asked Moonjun, her colleague, to postpone their date. At first, he was upset, but then had an idea. I'll come with you, and we'll spend the night together, he suggested. When Hyunho heard that she had brought a man with her, he arranged for the crew to finish their work that day, so they wouldn't have to stay overnight. Eunho finished her work. Exhausted from covering the news, Jun took good care of her and drove her home. When they arrived, Jun asked her why she had agreed to the date, knowing she didn't like him. He suspected she did it because of Hyunho. Suddenly she had a flashback. Getting married? I can't do that. It's not like me, he had said. I hate him a lot, she confessed, and then apologized for suggesting the date. You have so much hatred towards him that it makes you look like someone who loves him, he said. He suggested she stop hating Hyunho. Give me a chance and let me help you forget him. If you stay silent and don't reject me, as you are now, I'll keep pursuing you, he promised. The light in front of her started flickering. She was affected by his words, and it scared her as if she were afraid of falling in love again. He kissed her, and the light went out. Hyeri, what happened? Were you dreaming again? Her friend asked her. Who was she really? Ju Hyeri or Jun Eunho? Hyeri's personality was entirely different from Jun Eunho's. Her job and age were also different, a 28-year-old woman with bangs covering her eyes, working as a car park attendant at a news agency. She also had a scar on her forearm, unlike Eunho. She went to a psychiatrist and told her about the dreams she had. She said they felt real, as if it were her actual life. Most of her memories were fading. She couldn't remember much. Hyeri complained about how dull her life was. So her psychiatrist suggested she do something exciting to get out of her rut. Something exciting like falling in love? Hyeri asked. Her psychiatrist agreed. She already liked someone. A guy who worked as an announcer. Kang Ju-yoon. He's a good guy, though he can be rude and cold sometimes. He only treats the one he loves kindly, she described, admitting he was her type. She was smitten. She always reserved a parking spot for him and watched him from afar, too shy to talk or approach him. One night she saw him being attacked by a woman and couldn't run away. She saved him, took his hand, and ran away. They hid behind a wall. Hyeri was extremely nervous. He put his hand on her lips to keep her quiet. After the woman left, He started talking, but she wasn't listening. She kissed him. He was surprised. Then she left casually. He was stunned by her actions. The next episode shows a flashback. Eun-ho was playing with her sister, and the following scene showed how Hyeri's hand got injured. She was crying, and her sister looked at her sadly. "Hyeri, look here," her father said, and took a picture of them. Hyeri was coming back home when she saw someone in front of her house. It was Hyunho. He called her Eun-ho, and she was shocked. "I'm not Eun-ho," she shouted and ran away. Eun-ho was suffering from dissociative identity disorder. Her psychiatrist said both Eun-ho and Hyeri were the same person, just different personalities. The psychiatrist explained that any trigger or stressful situation could cause a switch between these personalities. One day, she would wake up as Eun-ho, not remembering anything about Hyeri. Another day, she would wake up as Hyeri, working at the parking lot and thinking about her love for Kang Joo-yoon. After kissing Joo-yoon, she tried her best to avoid him, but he was looking for her. He finally caught up with her and asked why she kissed him that night. His cold tone broke her heart, and she thought he hated her, stayed silent and started crying. "Forget it," he said angrily and left. The next day, Hyeri sent him a box full of paper stars with a note explaining that she kissed him because she liked him. After reading the note, he realized that the kiss was not an impulsive act. It meant something to her. He met her again. Hyeri was surprised to see him. She apologized for kissing him, and he also apologized for being harsh. "The reason was important to me," he confessed. Hyeri was much cooler this time. She asked him if he wanted her to repeat the reason, and then she confessed again, nonchalantly. She said she really wanted to know him more. "I also want to know more about you," he said. "Then let's go." "You choose the place," she said, walking toward his car. Her personality intrigued him. He took her to his house. "Wow, this place is really neat." And her eyes fell on a picture. "Who's this guy?" she asked. Joo-yoon said it was his brother who had passed away. He explained that his mother became ill after losing him, and would sometimes mistake him for his brother. Hyeri sat on the couch and asked him to sit near her. They started talking and getting to know each other. Hyeri mentioned that she was 28, which surprised him because he thought she was older. She also said she was an only child. The next day, she woke up as Eun-ho. She had fallen asleep at Joo-yoon's house. She sneaked out nervously. She didn't even know him. She found out that he was also an announcer, which made her even more anxious. What if they ran into each other? She had also rejected June, so he was ignoring her. That day, she had to cover an important story. She got inside a refrigerated truck and started filming. Suddenly, she noticed something horrifying, a frozen body. Terrified, she wanted to get out of the truck, but hearing someone outside, she stayed quiet. The person closed the door, and she got trapped inside. She called and messaged her colleague for help, but got no response. She thought of Hyunho. He would come if she asked him, but a flashback stopped her. "Would jump and save you if you were drowning. Why is it so hard for you to say the same?" she had said bitterly. "You should help yourself. You were the one who jumped into the water," he had replied. Remembering his words, she refrained from calling him. "I can help myself," she cried. Suddenly, the door opened. She was shocked. She thought her colleague had come, but to her surprise, it was Hyunho. In my interpretation, Eun-ho appears to be the more original personality. Hyeri is the name of her sibling who may have drowned. This could explain why Eun-ho frequently asks Hyunho what he would do if she were drowning. Let's discuss two significant symbols in the story. The blinking lights in front of her when June was confessing and asking her to forget could symbolize awareness. When June left with a heavy heart, she struggled emotionally. The lights went out, and the next day, she appeared as Hyeri. The incident at the gate. After her unusual behavior the previous night, Hyunho saw her struggling to pass through the gate at her workplace because the scanner didn't recognize her fingerprint. Hyunho helped her get in. This symbolizes her losing her identity and might emphasize Hyunho's role in helping her find herself again. What do you think? Is Hyeri more of a fabricated personality, or is Eun-ho? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support means a lot.